Let's get ready to rumble. In this corner, we got the Mexican monster, according to Mike Tyson. And in the other corner, 31 years of age, CHARLO. I couldn't rhyme it together. I wanted to, but I just couldn't get it together. So, these are apparently the young lions who CANELO should be fighting. But they're getting out-hustled by a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin, inactive, not fighting the best competition, and on the eye test not looking at his best. And they're still getting out-hustled for that CANELO fight. At least that's how it looks on this CANELO rematches BIVOL. So basically, they're just waiting to win the lottery. If CANELO don't get back at them with the winning lottery ticket...
Welcome to Wednesday's live lotto draw.
They're not going to do anything to improve their resume or legacy. You know, whether that's BENAVIDEZ fight Zerto, which I think he should do. They could make a fight at 175 catch weight, or whatever it is, they could fight. CHARLO could fight Andrade. He could move up to 168 and fight BENAVIDEZ. Now, what I said there would mean BENAVIDEZ would have to move up to see Zerto. CHARLO would have to move up to see BENAVIDEZ. But if they're so worthy of a CANELO fight, these are the young lions, then it shouldn't be no issue to move up 4 or 8 pounds to make a fight that's going to register on the radar, a fight that the public actually want to see, because they're not taking fights the public want to see. They're just not. I'm not going to waste your time and bullshit around and saying fighting Adames would get CHARLO a CANELO fight, because it wouldn't. More than likely it wouldn't. But it's a way better opponent than Suzuki. And like, you know, people are telling me BENAVIDEZ is fighting Lemieux in an elimination. Lemieux was never that good. Let's keep it real. And he's way past his best. And winning an eliminator against Lemieux at 168 in 2022, that's not necessarily going to get you the fight. No one cares about that fight. Well, let's see what the young lion BENAVIDEZ has done since 2019. Alexis Angulo, Ronald Ellis, Caron Davis, David Lemieux next. Crickets. Jamal Charlo, since 2019. 2 fights. Sergei Derevyanchenko, but this is Derevyanchenko after he lost to Jacobs and Triple G. And Juan Maciej Montiel. This is what these 2 young lions have done to demand a legacy fight against anybody. You know, you could throw Caleb Plant's name in the mix, but at least he got his payday, and he got his fight against CANELO, and flaked out. I keep hearing him and BENAVIDEZ going back and forth, him and CHARLO going back and forth. When are you actually going to throw hands at each other? Either David or Jamal don't want to fight anybody, or Al Heyman is preventing them from getting the big fights. But, you know, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They're young lions. And if you don't have them on your resume, you ain't shit. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. That means it's Al Heyman's fault. If it's not their fault, it's Al Heyman's fault. And if it's Al Heyman's fault, they should leave. You can say what you like. CANELO has cleared out most of the zone. He's beat Triple G twice, wiped out all of Eddie's 168 pounders. 2 of them were belt holders. Danny Jacobs. You tell me where these guys on the same side of the street are wiping each other out or trying to. No, they're all in separate cocoons. Caleb, CHARLO, BENAVIDEZ. All on the same side of the street, not fighting each other. Getting out-hustled by old-ass Golovkin. I'm out. Beats bang on the money again. Ben Whittaker on why he has chosen SUGARHILL Stewart to be his trainer. SUGARHILL is the man. He can bring those devastating knockouts. That's why he went there, you know. Because I know a few people were asking the same question. Well, if he's a pure boxer, why is he going to SUGARHILL? Because you want to add to your game. You know, you want to add to your game. You don't want to get somebody who can just reinforce what you can do already. You want to get someone who can bring new stuff there. He said he really breaks things down. He's a teacher. Ben said, I'm a beautiful boxer. Hit, not get hit. That's the game. But I want to bring in knockouts now. And you see, he's done that from the jump. He's brought in SUGARHILL from the jump. This is exactly what I said. And I think AJ, who Whittaker has signed to his management, he told Ben, yeah, we want the knockouts. And you know what they're like online. They start saying, well, where was your knockouts against Ruiz? And, Usyk. But, AJ made his name knocking people out. He became unified champion knocking people out. He hit the fork in the road against Ruiz. He came back and outboxed him. Different strategy. And he tried to box Usyk. That was wrong. He said he's going to try and knock Usyk out this time. But it's weird. They were replying to AJ like AJ's never scored a knockout. No, he scored lots of knockouts over decent opposition. Good opposition too. So what, all knockout punches knock everybody out? Ben Whittaker has a long career ahead of him, and it's not all going to be plain sailing. There are going to be times where either during a fight or post-fight, they're going to have to revisit the hit and not get hit tactics and make that the focus of what they're doing. Maybe for a few fights or to get his confidence back after perhaps an indifferent performance or maybe a loss. Or maybe to prepare for a certain style. Basically, it's all about versatility and balance, isn't it? Wow, he said he wants to win Dan Azeez's British title within 5 fights. Now that's very quick. As soon as I read that, I thought of Audley Harrison. After he won the Olympics in 2000, he turned pro and signed with the BBC. And he said he'll fight for the British title in 12 months and then go on to European honours and world honours. I remember the established British heavyweights being a bit pissed off. I think Matt Skelton and Danny Williams, they weren't too pleased about that. Because they was around for a while and they hadn't won world titles. And they're thinking, what, you think you're just going to run through us like that and then go on to win world honours? Who are we? The bit players? And a few years into the deal, they weren't happy with some of his performances. And he didn't snag the British title like he said in 12 months. He won the WBF title, the World Boxing Federation title. And Audley didn't help himself by proclaiming he's going to win the British title in 12 months, and he hasn't done that yet. As soon as he had that major fight with a domestic rival, Danny Williams, he was knocked down for the first time in his career and outpointed. It was a split decision. But, when he did finally challenge for the British title against Michael Sprott, once again with Frank Warren, he was knocked out in the third. Remember that one, people? He was knocked out. Probably going into the whole story another time, right? He got such criticism from everybody when he took them 2 L's. Such criticism. Some people say he was too cocky, proclaiming he was doing that. And a lot of it was because he went rogue. He didn't go with a big promoter or anything like that. He made his own promotional company, A-Force Promotions. But whatever it was, whether the powers to be, the press were conspiring against the guy, they really slated him. Both losses. Hard. And as long as Ben can handle the pressure that he's going to put on himself if he's going to make predictions about fast-tracking to win titles against good opponents like Dan Azeez is a good opponent. It's a good opponent. So, what did I say in the weekly? It's not going to take him long to start antagonizing boxing fans and the media, and he's going to be loved and he's going to be hated in equal measure. Let's see how he deals with it. I want to see how Dan Azeez responds. He might say that we don't even have to wait for you to have 5 fights. We can go now if you think you're that good. Apparently it was Tyson Fury who recommended Ben to SUGARHILL. It was Tyson Fury. You know what's really weird? Is everybody is saying, Frank Warren is now taking Eddie Hearn over. Well, Frank Warren hasn't got none of them Olympians either. He hasn't got Big Fraze or Ben, and we know he ain't going to sign up none of the girls. He ain't got none of them, but all you want to point out is that Eddie couldn't sign them, but you said Frank was in charge now. So shouldn't he be making all the big signings? Just saying. This is a good fight. Eddie's empire is crumbling. Because Boxer XX are going to match Michael Hunter against Hughie Fury. They both agreed terms to face each other next. Hughie seems to be hitting a little harder in his last few performances, standing his ground and trading more. Mike hasn't looked that good since Matchroom let him go. I think early 2020, 2019, Hunter would have been a considerable favorite, and he still may be. I like the fight. I like it. I need to break it down more to determine a winner. Let's hope it materializes. I would really like to see this fight, actually. Definitely a good heavyweight matchup. Definitely. They're both world ranked in various places by the sanction bodies. But, you know, we keep hearing from Peter Fury that Hughie is only 27 and we haven't seen the best of him yet, and he's still got this potential to be fulfilled. Remember, Michael Hunter was the boogeyman and the throwback fighter in a lot of people's eyes and built this cult following. And remember who said, yo, it's not like how you're saying it is? Me. I said, soon, risk-reward is going to play a part in Michael's career, and you guys are going to turn against him. And then he got offered the Hrgovic fight. And word for word, bar for bar, once again, boxing beats and rhymes shows up. What was it? Maybe a day or so after the Canelo Bivol fight, I watched it again, and it wasn't the popular opinion. Yeah, Bivol won the fight, but I said it wasn't the one-sided blowout that people have made it to be. And once again, I'm isolated, saying what I've got to say. And then the last couple of days, people are taking all these clips from the fight with Canelo slipping and weaving shots. And what's popular now on Twitter? Oh, well, I didn't know he slipped so many punches. Look at the way he's slipping all them punches. It's just like the first Golovkin fight where they said Golovkin hit him with everything and he clearly didn't. What are you telling me for? I done said it already, early in the game. So now we've got this BT Eurosport merger. They're still going to remain separate entities for a few years and then it will all be under one umbrella. Hopefully Frank Warren will see a trickle-down effect and he'll be able to do some better undercards than he did at Wembley the other day. Eurosport, having made this major move, may have sealed Pro Bellum's fate in terms of them broadcasting on a network of significance. I put the flipping link in the last video. You mean to tell me that 1,500 of you have watched the video so far and not more than 20 of you could have participated in the poll? Lord have mercy. That's alright, fair enough anyway. Well, African American style won out. 39.8 people think this is the best and most effective pro boxing style. Eastern Euro came in at 36.6 in second place. Cuban style, 13.8. And Mexican style came in last, 9.8. Yeah, watch Ricky, or should I say, watch Campbell Hatton get shown up by his old man on Good Morning Britain. Like they were hitting some heavy bag, I don't know where it was, can't remember where it was. And Ricky's punch had more velocity than Campbell's, but you know, Campbell, I think he's a bit taller than Ricky, but you know, Ricky, stocky Manchester boy, gets stuck into that steak and kidney pie, lad. So, Ricky made a good point. Canelo is in a similar position to Anthony Joshua after losing to Bivol. He's basically saying they both lost to quality Eastern European opposition who outboxed both of them. They both exercised their rematch clauses as A-side fighters, but which one of them really has a chance to avenge their L? I think AJ has a better chance of beating Usyk in his rematch than Canelo has beaten Bivol in his rematch. Because of the size dynamic, I'm saying that. Now, nothing set in stone. Whether AJ can make his size advantage tell in the rematch, we're yet to see. But at least he has it on the table as something he could use. Canelo don't have that. Added to that, yes, it was a tame performance by Anthony Joshua standards, but he still had Usyk marked up underneath his eyes. And definitely Usyk felt some of them body punches. I don't think Canelo really hurt Bivol like that at no stage of the fight. Canelo, my man Canelo, attempted to be great, but in this era here, what's the point? You're not going to get the credit for it. You know, like people are disparaging Canelo's resume because he lost to a good light heavyweight. And Dimitri Bivol and his team have played it smart. If they had asked Bivol, Team Canelo had asked Bivol before the first fight, when you come down to 168, he would have done it. He would have struggled, but he was going to do it because he was prepared to sacrifice to get this career-defining win. But now he's won, and Canelo wants to fight at 168 apparently. Oh, I don't think I can get down there. Of course you can't get down there. Why the hell would you do that? Yeah, you just beat him.
He acts absurd. Now what's the word?
What's the word?
Leverage.
Leverage, drink, beverage. You have it. You've got it. No 168. If Canelo wants the rematch, he knows what he's got to do.
Leverage.
What are you going to go down to fucking 168 for?
Leverage.
Yo, Canelo, you want the rematch? You know what it is, bruh. You know what it is.
Leverage.
Okay, so it's the free-to-air weekend for beats. First off, we're going to do UDOFIA versus Denzel Bentley for the British title on Channel 5. Then tomorrow, sources, Michael Benson, the Jamal Charlo versus Brian Castano rematch for the undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO Super Welterweight World titles will be shown live on PBC's YouTube channel for UK viewers on Saturday night. I'm in. Sign me up, Skipper. Sign me up. The Floyd Mayweather fight is called off in Dubai, apparently. The exhibition. TRILLER, they've got a show. Kovalev versus Taramel Pulev, Pulev's younger brother. And you have grown-up Pulev versus Jerry Forrest. And they also have Cypress Hill and Onyx performing. It's quite a good combination. Some old school 90s hip-hop and some boxing. I like it. But, you know, let's keep it boxing. Is this the graveyard shift for boxers? When you end up on TRILLER, are you on the graveyard shift? Will we ever see Kovalev back at world title level, or Pulev? What about Jerry Forrest? He arguably beat Michael Hunter a few months back. He arguably beat Zhilei Zhang. Is he a gatekeeper or is he a fringe contender? How good is Pulev's brother? Is he going anywhere? Are you of the same theory as me that aging Kovalev at cruiserweight is not going to replicate the same success he had at light heavy? We shall see. Tyson Fury is talking about being in the elite members VIP club, undefeated heavyweight champs. There's Rocky Marciano in the caption with him there. Tyson Fury is, what is he, 32-0? He's fought 3 different fighters in his championship reign. Marciano didn't fight a whole load of contenders. He fought Ezra Charles twice, Walcott to win the title, Walcott in a defense, and Archie Moore. But he was 49-0 and legitimately heavyweight champion, undisputed. Fury, he claims he won the 3 titles from Vlad and won the WBC title from Wilder. So he's held all 4 belts, but he hasn't held all 4 at one time. It depends how much you play into the unbeaten thing, you know, because if you're talking to someone who doesn't know the sport or the division, that might work. But Mike Tyson went 37-0. Larry Holmes went 48-0 before they lost. Like Larry Holmes, if he had retired on 32 fights or whatever, he wouldn't have the 19 defenses or whatever he has. 19 or 20. And that's what stamps his place in history in the division. Not the losses he took, it's the 19 defenses in his prime years. I mean, okay, that's the elite club according to Tyson Fury. You show me a credible top 10 all-time great heavyweight list that has Marciano at the top. All the top guys will be guys who have been beaten before. Michael Spinks was 31-0 and a lineal champion when Mike Tyson knocked him out. I mean, he was shit scared of Mike Tyson. And this is a light heavyweight. When Mike Tyson tied up all 3 belts and became undisputed champion in the 80s, the final hurdle was Tony Tucker, the IBF champion. He was 34-0 when Mike Tyson took his strap off him. Retiring before you beat the best of your generation doesn't make you an all-time great. If you retire, then you can't be beaten, whether you're 100-0, 20-0, 5-0, Ivanhoe, I don't know. That's the bottom line. Nat Fletcher has got Rocky Marciano at number 10, and he's the only defeated guy on the list. Everyone else has took a L. From Jack Johnson, Jeffries, Bob Fitzsimmons, Jack Dempsey, Corbett, Joe Louis, Sam Langford, Gene Tunney, Max Schmeling. They've all took L's. This is Burt Sugar, his top 10. Rocky Marciano is in at number 6. Everyone else on the list has got an L on their record. All of them. And guess what? Sam Langford is ranked number 7 by Nat Fletcher, the editor, the Ring Magazine editor. he never won a world title. He was co-signed to defending the colored heavyweight title because of the color bar. He never won a world title, but he's still in the list. So all this retiring undefeated and fake lineal defenses and all this shit here, put the work in, and then we can weigh it up legitimately. It's as simple as that. You know, when we're talking about Amir, as a British boxing fan, I've followed every punch in his 40 fights. And 40 fights dead on. 6 losses, 34 wins, 21 by stoppage. He started on ITV. I remember all them names, all of them. Like, the first official knockdown, at least on BoxRec, they've got listed as Willie Lemon. That was the first person who officially knocked him down. But there was a Moroccan guy he fought, who I believe took him the distance, who had him on the canvas. And I guess that's that Mohamed Meddaji. Yeah. There is an official knockdown, an 8 count registered. And what made Amir exciting is we knew he couldn't take much of a shot. But he had fast hands and he threw a lot of punches. You know what I mean? So it was always good to watch. I remember the Willie Lemon fight. He was 28-1 Lemon. And he wasn't much of a puncher, but yeah, he had Khan hurt. But Khan came back and stopped him. That was for the Commonwealth title. Knocked over guys like Scott Lawton, easy. Done Graham Earl in a round. Extremely fast hands. Fought a disciplined fight against Gary St. Clair, who was a decent fighter. That was for the Commonwealth title. What part of the West Indies was Gary St. Clair from? I can't remember. Michael Gomez. See, it's not registered on BoxRec, but Gomez had him down as well. Good fight that was. Very good fight. Gomez hurt him to the body as well. Then Brady's Prescott, the 1-round disaster. And then I discovered how racist a lot of people are on the internet after he lost that fight. And came back, beat Olsen Fagan, showed extremely fast hands. I didn't like the Barrera fight because he was beating one of our idols. It is what it is, you know what I mean? Won the title versus Andre Kotelnik, the WBA 140-pound title. He's with Freddie Roach now. Destroyed Dimitri Salita. He was totally out of his depth. Great performance against Paulie Malignaggi in New York. Great performance in the Mandalay Bay against Marcus Maidana. Perhaps his best win of his career. I don't know. He floored Maidana with that body shot, and Maidana hurt him a couple of times late on in the fight, and he was hanging on, but he got the W. The Paul McCloskey fight was weird, wasn't it? Weird fight. Like, the Irish guy, counter-puncher, southpaw. I don't know what it was about his style. He just made the action freeze. It just freezed. It was a weird fight. Got Zab Jr. out there with a body shot. That's one of his best wins as well, defending that WBA belt. He went to unify against Lamont Peterson in Lamont's hometown and lost the split decision. That was a very good fight. Controversial fight. Could have went either way. People still talk about the guy walking around the rings. There was a lot of conspiracy theories. Lamont Peterson tested positive for elevated levels of testosterone, I believe. He managed to keep hold of the IBF belt, but Khan kept the WBA belt. And then he went to unify against Danny Garcia at the WBC belt and got knocked out in 4. Like, he was doing well early. He was doing well, but Danny was timing him with that left hook. He was timing him and he caught him, and Khan couldn't get out of round 4. 2 losses on the bounce, and it looked like it was all over, you know. But he came back with some good wins. He never won a world title again, but the Carlos Molina fight, that was rather low-key. Molina retired at the end of 10, I believe. I told everybody about the Julio Diaz fight. I said this is going to be a difficult fight, and there you go. 114, 113, 115, 113, 115, 112. Khan down in the 4th round. I told everybody it was going to be a difficult fight. And then he joins Virgil Hunter, and you got the back-to-back victories against Collazo, Devin Alexander. That's probably his best run of his career, them 2 fights, actually. Got a bit lucky against Chris Algieri, in my opinion. Chris Algieri turned into the Hunter, and Khan, he didn't look too good. Jumped up to 155 to challenge Canelo for the middleweight title. The limit was set at 155. but we don't know what Canelo rehydrated to. And yeah, it was a sickening knockout. That right hand over the top just... Yeah, he took a little while out of the ring, understandably. Nearly 2 years, from 2016 to 2018. Came back to the UK with Matchroom. Knocked out Phil Greco in 1 round. Blinding hand speed again. Samuel Vargas, shortly after. Khan struggled. He had Vargas down, but Khan was down himself in round 2. And I wasn't impressed at all. I wasn't impressed. And then 2019, he challenged Terence Crawford, and for all intents and purposes, he bailed out or quit after getting hit with a low blow. He got plenty of time to recover, but he just didn't want it. Later on that year, 2019, he gets a nice payday in Saudi Arabia against Billy Dib, who had no business being in the ring with Amir Khan, really. And he follows Kell Brook into retirement after Brook knocked him out or stopped him in their long-awaited grudge match where Khan was dominated, really. Khan actually retired after the fight. I did say that's going to be short-lived. I did say that, and I was right, but he's changed his mind again, which he's entitled to do. He's had an exciting career. He's got some good wins. He repped for the Pakistanis and the United Kingdomites very well. He done his thing, man. He done his thing. Big up Amir Khan.